Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a good day. First, I would like to thank Mr. Farhan and Mrs. Aisha for attending today's solo session. My name is Ustazah Rina, and I have been appointed as the solo officer to facilitate the mediation process. The main purpose of today's solo session is to provide both of you an opportunity to discuss and seek a peaceful and voluntarily resolution regarding the claim of resuscitation of conjugal rights. It's hoped this process will help both parties reach a mutual agreement without having a proceed with a lengthy and burdensome court trial. Before we begin, I would like to explain several important aspects of the today's session. First, my role is neutral. I'm here to solely as facilitator. I do not take sides, nor will I make any decision on your behalf. Any decision reached today will be entirely yours. Second, confidentially. Everything discussed during the session confidential and privileged. Nothing said here will be used as evidence should this matter proceed to the trial before the Sharia court. And the third, for the ground rules to ensure that our discussion proceeds smoothly, I kindly ask both parties to observe a few basic rules. Please speak one at a time, do not interrupt while there are other parties speaking, and communicate respectfully. And for this private session caucus, if necessary, I may hold a separate private meeting known as caucus. Then before we proceed, to hear the statement from the plaintiff and the defendant, may I ask whether Mr. Farhan and Mrs. Aisha understand and agree to these terms and ground rules?
Waalaikumsalam. Yes, I understand and agree.
Waalaikumsalam. I also understand and agree.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for your cooperation. We shall now proceed to the next agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Farhan and Mrs. Aisha. We shall now proceed to the parties' opening statement. This is an opportunity for each of you to explain and of your perspective regarding the dispute and the reason they brought you before the Sharia court today. I kindly ask that each of you speak honestly and respectfully. Please do not interrupt while the other person is speaking, as you will each have the opportunity to be heard. Mrs. Farhan, as the plaintiff, you may begin.
Okay, thank you, Saza. I feel this claim because I genuinely want my wife to return home so that we can continue our marriage and raise our daughter together. I acknowledge that we have experienced disagreement concerning our finance, parenting, and household responsibilities. However, I have never intend to harm or abuse my wife. I believe that as the head of the household, I was carrying out my responsibilities according to my understanding. If I ever strayed or raised my voice during agreements, it was never my intentions to make her feel neglected or unsafe. I still love my wife and believe that our marriage can be repaired. I hope Sulh session that today's will help us understand each other and find a way to reconcile.
Thank you, Mr. Farhan, for sharing your perspective. Mrs. Aisha, you may now present your opening statement.
Thank you, Ustazah. Leaving our matrimonial home was one of the most difficult decisions I have ever made. I did not leave because of a single disagreement. It was the result of ongoing conflict that made me feel emotional, exhausted. Over time, I felt that my opinion and emotion were often ignored. Whenever we discuss financial matter or our daughter upbringing, our conversation frequently ended with argument or harsh words. Although my husband did not physically harm me, I feel emotionally neglected and affected by his repeated verbal outbursts. For the sake of my emotional well-being, I decide to stay with my mother. At this point, I am uncertain whether I am ready to return unless there are meaningful change change in our communication and behavior.
Thank you, Mrs. Aisha. I appreciate both of you expressing your view respectfully. I understand that this matter has caused emotional difficulties for both of you. We will now proceed to the joint discussion. At this stage, I would like to ask each of you several questions to better understand the issues and clarify the matters that have been raised. Mrs. Aisha, could you explain what led you to leave the marital house?
The main reason was that I no longer feel emotionally supported in this marriage. The frequent argument, especially regarding finance and parenting, become overwhelming. I often feel unheard, and the repeated verbal outbursts affected my emotional well-being. I need time and and space to calm myself, which is why I choose to stay with my mother.
Thank you for explaining your reason. Mrs. Farhan, having heard your wife's explanation, would like you to respond?
I understand what she says, but I admit that we have argued frequently. But I did not realize that my behavior had affected her to that extent. I believe that we were simply facing ordinary marital disagreement.
Mrs. Farhan, are you willing to change and fulfill your emotional as well as your physical responsibilities as
Yes,
a husband?
Saza. I'm willing to improve myself. I understand that being a husband is not only providing the financial, but also giving the emotional support respectfully and creating a peaceful home environment.
Thank you, Mr. Farhan. Mrs. Aisha, you mentioned you feel emotionally neglected and unsafe at times.
Yes.
Could you explain what you mean by feeling emotionally neglected?
Staza, I feel that my concerns were often dismissed. When I tried to express my feeling, they were not always taken it seriously. Over time, I feel isolated and emotionally unsupported in the marriage.
I understand. Mr. Farhan, during your marriage, how did you usually deal with agreements between you and your wife?
Most of the time, I try to explain my point of view, but I admit that sometimes I became emotional and I raised my voice during the arguments. Looking back, I realized that my approach not have been best.
Thank you for your honesty. Mrs. Aisha, apart from the communication issue, were there any other factors that contribute to your decision to leave the matrimonial home?
Staza, the communication problem were the main reason. They gradually affected my emotional well-being and made me feel that I need some distance from the situation.
Thank you, Mr. Farhan and Mrs. Aisha, for your cooperation and for answering my question respectfully.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Mr. Aisha. Thank you for being willing to speak me with separately. Whatever you share during this session is confidential and it will not be disclosed to Mr. Farhan without your consent. I would like to understand your situation more clearly. What was the main reason that led you to leave the matrimonial home?
I could not say that I could no longer bear the emotional pressure. We argue frequently, and my husband often raises his voice. I feel unappreciated and did have the peace in this marriage.
I understand, Mr. Aisha. I would like to ask, apart from your husband's way of communication, were there any other matter that made you feel unsafe and unhappy?
I was never been physically abused, but every time he became angry, I feel frightened and sad. I felt it was better for me to stay temporarily at my mother's house. That's good for us.
If Mr. Farhan is truly willing to change, control his anger, and improve his communications, do you still have the desire to preserve this marriage?
I still love our family and I love my husband very much. However, I only need assurance that something will not happen because I am emotionally, physically exhausted.
I understand, Mr. Aisha. So, what conditions or changes do you expect from Mr. Farhan?
For Mr. Farhan, I want him to speak to me in a better and gentle manner. Involves me in decision regarding finance and matters concerning our child and respect my opinions. This is because I'm his lawful wife. I have a right in such matters.
Very well. With your permission, I will convey these matters to Mr. Farhan to see whether he is willing to meet those expectations. Thank you, Mr. Aisha. Assalamualaikum, Mr. Farhan. Thank you for your cooperation. I would like to hear your view openly. What motivated you to file the claim for the returns of to marital ovid?
I still love my wife and my child. I want our family to be reunited.
Ms. Aisha stated that she feel emotionally pressured by the way you communicate. What is your response?
I admit that sometimes I speak in a loud tone when I am angry. However, I never intend to hurt her, and I still love her. Aisha is my lawful wife.
If you want your wife to return home, what change are you willing to make?
I will learn to control my emotion, communicate more effectively, and pay more attention to my wife's feelings.
Are you willing to attend family counseling if it can help your marriage?
Yes, I am willing.
Very well, Mr. Farhan. I will convey this communicate to Mr. Aisha to see whether there is room for reconciliation in this marriage. Thank you, Mr. Farhan.
Welcome.
Thank you to both parties for your cooperation. From the separate discussions, I have found that both parties still have the desire to preserve this marriage. The only differences lie in the way you communicate and manage conflict within the family. Mr. Farhan, are you willing to personally express your commitment to your wife?
Yes, I would like to apologize if the way I have spoken has hurt Aisha's feelings. I promise to control my anger, communicate in a better manner, and become a husband who is more understanding of my wife.
Thank you, Mr. Farhan. Mr. Aisha, after hearing your husband's explanations, what are your thoughts?
I appreciate his apology. I still want to preserve this marriage, but I hope the change will truly take the place.
Very well. Can we agree on the following matters? Number one, both parties will communicate politely without raising their voice. Number two, all decisions relating to the family finance will be discussed jointly. Number three, matter concerning the welfare and education of the child will be decided jointly. Number four, both parties agree to attend family counseling sessions. And the last one, Mr. Aisha agreed to return to their matrimonial home gradually within 2 weeks on the conditions that Mr. Farhan fulfill the commitment that have been agreed upon. Do you both parties agree?
Yes, I agree.
I agree as well.
Alhamdulillah. This agreement shows that both parties remain committed to improving their marriage. Alhamdulillah, I would like to congratulate to both parties for successfully reaching an amicable agreement without having to proceed with the dispute through a court trial. The agreement reached today will be recorded as a Sulh settlement agreement and submitted to the Sharia court for further action in accordance with the provisions of the law. I would like to remind both parties that the success of an agreement does not depend solely on what is written, but on the commitment of both parties to fulfill every obligation that has been agreed upon. I hope that Mr. Farhan and Mr. Aisha will continue to respect Raj, improve their communications, and always prioritize the welfare of their child and the harmony of their family. Should any difficulties arise in the future, both parties are encouraged to seek assistance from a family counselor, a religious officer, or return to the Sharia court before taking any action that may jeopardize their family relationship. With that, today's Suluh session is adjourned. Thank you all for your cooperation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.